Okay, so you cut your pipe with the pipe cutter, and then this blade on the back of the pipe cutter, you pop it out and you deburr the pipe. You just run this around the inside of the cut and take that burr off. You'll see what it does. Then you take your emery cloth and you start cleaning the joint. It's the most important thing. And this joint's just about done. I'm squeezing and manipulating my hand differently, crunching in on the emery cloth and stuff like that. I'm getting it back and forth and up and down as I'm going. That's it. That joint's done. Now I also just might take a little bit and do the cut. So I know I'm going to get some solder penetration on that corner. And we're going to clean it up with a dry cloth. Apply the flux evenly. Ready to go. There's a secret. And the big secret is cleaning your joints. That's the most important thing when you're soldering copper pipes or when you're soldering anything. You've got to get all the dirt off. And how do you get the dirt off? It's very important to get all the dirt off. So if we were cleaning like these copper fittings, let's take this one for instance. I would first go with the emery cloth on the inside because this is going to cover the outside of the joint. And let's take for instance this fitting. Properly cleaned as described in this quick video. The inside, the cut, and a little bit on the outside for the copper to stick when it gets drawn in on the capillary action. Clean, clean, clean. It's the most important thing. After you clean it, your copper pipe, then you apply what's called flux. Something like this. And the flux like seals the copper while it's getting hot from any oxygen touching the surface or something like that. So use this to apply the flux. And you dip your finger in, and I'm going to show you. Like sometimes if you let it sit, it gets a little water on the top. Just pour it out. So I just stick my finger in until it looks like that. You see that? That's like enough to do like one, you know? One. And you don't want so much flux that it's like gobbed on there, but you want to coat every single square millimeter that's going to make contact with your fitting. You can't miss any parts. You have to cover with everything with flux. Everything on this and everything inside the fitting. Even the cut joint. Even the cut joint. And on this one, it's not necessary, but on this one, the inside, the cut joint, and a little bit up on the outside. Everywhere that you cleaned with your emery cloth and wire brush, and then wiping down with a dry cloth, everywhere you cleaned, viewers, you are going to apply a light coating of flux. Then as you assemble the parts, you will twist them, if you can, as you're assembling them. You stick my hand, give them a twist if you can, just to spread the flux around even a little bit more. But if you can't twist them, it's okay. Sometimes the friction just gets them. Then people say, well, how do I know if it's hot enough? You know, they understand that soldering at this point, you have to clean the contact areas. You have to apply flux. You have to press the joints together, twisting the fittings if you can to spread the flux around even more. And then you have to heat it up. So we're using like a MAPP torch, which is like a MAPP gas. It's a little hotter than propane torch, but you could use a propane torch that looks the same kind of thing, or any kind of, you know, setup you got. And as you're heating it, like on one like this, I would first want to start heating on the pipe a little bit to bring the heat inside the inside here. So I would start heating here around evenly, like 3 seconds, 3 seconds, and then 3 seconds from, you know, and I'm talking pointing the torch in different directions. And then I would bring the torch out to the joint, because now it's got a lot of heat inside, because we just heated up the pipe, and I would go like 2 seconds, 2 seconds, 2 seconds, and with the MAPP torch, that would be about ready to go. And how do I tell it's hot enough? I take my solder, which is over here, solder, and I would touch the if it melts, if the solder melts, it's hot enough. You'll see it melt, and you'll see the capillary action suck the solder, and I'm going to use the solder to point with, but you'll see the capillary action, it sucks the solder into the joint. So as I'm heating, I'm touching to see if it's hot enough. Then when I know it's hot enough, I'm going to run my solder bead all the way around, come around this side, run my solder bead. If at any point it stops melting, that part of the pipe isn't hot enough. You didn't evenly heat it. Get the torch back on it. You could have the solder in one hand and the torch in the other, and heat and solder, heat, you know, touch and heat as you go, feeling if it's hot enough. Then it's done. Then once the solder gets sucked in the capillary action and your joint's looking pretty good, basically take like a damp cloth and just wipe it around. That helps spread the solder around and seal any pinholes and stuff. And just wipe them down with like a very little bit of a dampness of a rag. And that's it. You're ready to go. You turn the water on. If you did a good job, no leaks, all right? You know, good job. If you screwed up anywhere, you're going to have water squirting out. You got to take it, you know, drain the pipes, take it apart, and do it over again. But that's the nice thing about solder. You know right away if you screwed up. It's not like 8 hours later it's going to start leaking. It either works or it doesn't. You'll either see a leak or you won't. All right, have fun. Soldering's like a favorite activity, but you got to clean the pipes. That's the most important thing. You got to clean. And the second most important thing is applying that flux evenly. And then there's the heat. And then there's wiping it down when you're done. Before it cools down enough for the solder to be solid, you want to wipe it down with the damp paper towel. If it cooled down, you just pop the torch back on there, get it hot enough, and then wipe it down. And that's it. Have fun. And I actually changed the design of it. And we have roughed in our copper pipe that we're going to sweat in. So walking back, we start from here with the repair. And we're joining right here, and it's the hot water for the pipe. And what we're taking out was like, had an extra bend in it. So we actually eliminated a bend, and got all that old pipe. That pipe keeps popping pinholes. This is like the second time I've been here in 6 months. So we decided to replace the whole corner. All right, so I'm going to stick the camera somewhere and let it run while I'm attempting to solder this up, just so you hopefully get an idea of the process. But like I said, it is a process. So this is not that you're actually going to see anything, but just that you can get an idea of the general procedure. I make like a coat hanger shape in the top of my solder. And first off, there's a little bit of old solder left on the tip of this. I just want to nip it off so we start with a nice fresh piece. Alright, so got my torch. Now generally I'm going to start at our bottom and work our way up. The only tough spot is going to be these two right next to the ceiling, because I don't want to burn up the sheetrock with my torch. So we're going to use this hammer as a spacer to give us like an inch before we hit sheetrock. And then these two wires I can deal with by directing the heat the other way. Alright, let's get going here. So heat the pipe first, because that'll bring heat up inside. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. I work like a clock. 12, 3, 6, and then 9, and I give it a couple of seconds on each. Now I've moved up to the actual joint, and I'm heating the joint. Now I'm going to test if it's hot enough, and it's almost hot enough. The pipe needs a little more heat. There we go, we're getting a nice spread joint. And I can see the solder got sucked all the way around. Alright, now I'm just going to skip to the next joint, then my hanger shape. Now this joint is already hot from the first one on the outside, so really I'm just concentrating on heating the pipe, not the connection. Oh, that's ready to go. See a little out of heat up with it. And I'm just double checking this one as long as it's hot right now. Now we're going to take our damp rag and we're just going to wipe this joint down. This gives it a nice finished look and seals your work nice. And if you don't like the way it looks, just heat it up and do it again. Okay, there's plenty of heat in this joint, and that's looking pretty good. Now we're going to move to the next one. It's up here, kind of near the ceiling, so we're going to be careful. We're going to do the lower one first. And again, we heat the pipe first. 1, 2, 3, 1. And I'm being careful because there's wires here and sheetrock, so I'm wires. I'm watching where the excess heat is going, like after I'm done. Now I move up to the connection. You can have the connection. 1, 2, 3. We're getting there. And when it's bent in this hook shape, you can get around to the other side easily. Yeah, hi. I'm talking on the phone. I'll be done in a minute. I'm sorry, I can't stop.
Stop.
Okay. Hey, Brenda. Okay. All right. Okay, that's nice. Yeah, it's nice. Okay, now we gotta strap, wherever I put the strap, we gotta strap this to the ceiling and we're done. Alright, so the most important thing is getting those pipes clean and then putting flux everywhere where you intend solder to be, and then a little extra. Not so much extra in a goopy way, but extra that the pipe is coated with it. And whenever you open a pipe to work on it, and then solder it back up, turn the water back on, there's going to be big air bubbles in the pipe. And then when people turn on the faucet upstairs in the house, they're going to get like these explosions coming out. See that? So, and all that debris and stuff. So we want to come when we're done and flush the pipes out. And that would go for like every, in this case it was hot water we worked on, so I'm going to hit every bathroom and just run the water till it starts acting normal. Probably a good idea to take that aerator off because there's a good chance you're going to clog them up with debris, but that one, all the crap came out. Trying to wash my hands while I'm up here. Yeah, I'm washing my hands. I'm just running the faucet so those air bubbles come out. It scares people.
Yes, that scares.
Yeah.
Yes.
Also, today we're going to fix this toilet paper holder. This light switch doesn't shut off. I'm going to replace it. And, okay, so there's another bathroom here. Okay. See, there's air bubbles everywhere. Alright. Toilets and showers I don't bother with. It's just faucets, really. So that's how you get the bubbles. But I really should have taken the aerator off, but I didn't because I just got one hand. I normally would have removed the aerators, then run the water, then reinstall the aerator, cleaning it out as long as I'm in there.